So just invite all of us to take a few really deep breaths down into the belly and let the body come into a relaxed place if possible. And just notice before we make any specific suggestions for where to put attention that something is already awake in each one of us. It hears my voice. It's aware of whatever sensations you might have sitting where you are. It may be taking in ambient noises, sounds in your environment. And begin to realize that awareness can appear to move anywhere based on where we place our attention. So, if your attention is mostly on my voice, you may not be as aware, we might say, of other things. Or maybe there's a loud noise that brings your attention more toward that. So attention moves, awareness simply is. But as was mentioned a moment ago, we are mostly under the impression that awareness seems to be located in the mind, in the head, in the idea we have of a self. I am aware, and then whoever it is we take that I to be seems to become the locus of awareness. But as I said, attention moves, and awareness simply is. So I want to just invite you with the words of Ramana that I frequently use to enter with love the temple that is your own heart. Enter with love the temple that is your own heart. And this can be your own experience. There's no one to say how or where or what enters the temple that is your heart. But begin to just feel into it in your own experience. We're just inviting attention into this heart. Awareness is already there. We could say that the heart, in its most expansive experience, is already one with awareness itself, with what's awake in us, regardless of whether the mind imagines I have awakened or I have not awakened. Something is already awake. And it's awake to anything and everything. And when we notice what it feels like in the area of the heart, it's quite a different experience than simply awareness that we think of as awareness in the mind. So When you really put attention to the heart of awareness, there are qualities there that are a bit different in flavor than awareness of the mind. So, before I mention what a few of these might be, I would just invite you to notice in your own experience what it feels like to open the heart and notice what awareness experiences in that area of your heart. So, if you brought attention to what we might call the area of the heart in the body, which is one experience, you might find that that heart seems closed, or you might find that it feels open. So just notice. And then begin to notice what it actually feels like to see from the heart. Imagine we can only see from the mind or see from the eyes, but that's not actually true. There are many ways of seeing. So when you begin to explore, investigate, seeing from the heart, what might you notice? So some might notice that things feel more intimate, closer to you. You might notice that instead of going out after something, that there's some dimension of yourself in the heart that simply receives the moment, the sound, the thought, the voice. And that quality of openness is the quality of receiving. And if, or to whatever extent, you begin to experience this open and receptive quality, recognize that anything and everything could be brought into this openness of heart. So, in addition to perhaps a feeling of greater openness or greater intimacy, you might also begin to just inquire or feel into the qualities of love and compassion that seem to come from the heart when they're here. Something touches the heart, we'll say, and compassion may arise. Something or someone or some experience may touch the heart and we feel love. And so you might just invite a moment or two, even if it's from memory, of that felt sense of love or compassion that you have, have experienced, or perhaps are experiencing towards someone or something in your life. You might also let yourself be in touch with how it feels or felt when that love or compassion seems to come toward you. So there may be a quality that you can be in touch with of both giving and receiving from the heart. And I would mention that the heart that I'm pointing to here is not simply the emotional heart. When we think of love, we think of emotion. And of course, that's one expression. But there is a deeper love that does not require a particular form or a particular expression. It just loves. You've probably all heard the expression loving what is, and that's very difficult if we're identified with the mind. There are many things that are the what is of our life that we imagine would be almost impossible to love. And yet, if you take your attention away from the judging mind and let it rest in the heart, what is that like? Does anything change? Is anything transformed in those moments where we allow the mind to rest in the heart? And when I speak about the mind, I'm speaking about the mind of thought, opinion, judgment, beliefs, conditioned ways of thinking, that mind. There's a pure mind as well, an unconditioned mind as well, just like there's an unconditioned heart that simply loves, simply is open, simply receives the moment as it is without judging it should or should not be as it is. And perhaps if you do feel into this expanded sense of heart, there may be a felt sense of warmth or not, or something stirring in the heart, touched in the heart. So we might say that a moment of full, full seeing or participating in life itself includes both awareness that informs the mind and that same awareness that informs the heart working together. So, in that sense, love and wisdom are married, we might say. They intertwine, they intersect, they become one. Wisdom, the wisdom of emptiness, the wisdom of interconnection, the wisdom of no separation, and the heart of love, of compassion, of intimacy, of beauty, really. Where do we feel beauty? It's not just in an intellectual sense. The heart is engaged. It engages the senses as well as the heart and the mind, but everything is connected here. The mind, the heart, the body, the senses. Ramana Maharshi often said, the heart is the self is the heart. And these are just words, but they point beyond themselves. And so, in our remaining time of just sitting together, I would invite everyone to simply rest, rest your attention, not simply in the heart, but what it might feel like as the heart, where attention, awareness, thought, feeling all come together without separation and without anybody trying to make it happen. It's already happening if we have eyes to see, openness to feel. The wholeness of being itself is seeing itself, feeling itself, noticing itself, loving itself through you, if you are open to it. It's not something you produce, it's something you realize. And so we'll just sit together quietly for maybe 10 more minutes. So, in just a moment or two, I will invite the bell. But before I do, I want to just let you know that the more you practice bringing attention to the heart, allowing even a few moments for the mind to rest in the heart, the more and more and more you will begin to experience the oneness of all creation. You are not just interconnected, you are at one with, intimate with, compassionate toward, not as some should that the mind wants to take charge of, but by simply resting attention in that dimension of your being that is already awake and aware of its own oneness with its own expression and expressions of being, of creation, of the moment as it is. So, awareness from the perspective of heart is really a key to the experience of oneness. And of course, that oneness is composed of many, many expressions. So, awakening in the heart is a very important aspect of coming into a deeper and deeper recognition of our true nature.